Stories, I'm a fool for your love.
Oh my goodness, it kind of works. Oh, but I do look very pale. First thing that I need to say though, I have no idea if this lighting works. So, it is January and the lighting is so bad at the moment. It is in the afternoon, but I should have some good lighting. There is no good natural lighting. So my mum has this light therapy thingy and I've just put that thing on top of the camera, but it's balancing, so hopefully it won't fall. Hello and welcome to a new vlog and welcome to my channel. There's a lot that I want to say today, so I've typed everything out and I'm gonna read it for you, so I might look down a bit. Sorry, but I do want this story to come across the right way. So, today I want to talk about food. Food is for quite a lot of people actually a sensitive topic, especially on the internet. So here's a disclaimer. I am not a nutritionist, a doctor whatsoever. I am just sharing my experiences. Also, if you feel triggered in a negative way when talking about food, I want you to stop this video for you because I don't want to harm anyone by sharing my story. So now that that's out of the way, this video is in 2 parts and this is part 1. If you want to see more in depth what I eat and what I don't eat, then watch part 2. It is linked up above right there, I believe. But this is my food journey. So I'm creating this video mainly because I love food. Food is a huge part of my life and that's why I also want to create what I eat in a day videos in the future. If you don't know what I eat in a day videos are, it's kind of like a day in the life, videos that I love, but then about food. So even better. But if I create those videos, I can expect questions about what I eat, what I don't eat, and why I eat what I eat. I decided to create these 2 videos, so if there are questions in future videos, then I can always refer you to these 2 videos and answer all of your questions here. My food journey actually started when I was about 15 years old. I was depressed at the time and I was overweight, not overweight like obese, but I was overweight. If you watch my throwback videos, you probably noticed that I was a bit heavier. So my parents wanted me to go to a dietitian and I was fine with that, so I went. But the dietitian couldn't really help me though. We did some tests and the dietitian told me it was very bad advice, that I was allergic to carbs, or at least I reacted badly to carbs. Back then I didn't know anything about food, I only knew what I liked and didn't like. So I started looking at the back of packaging, and when something had a lot of carbs, then I didn't want to eat it. I did notice that when I didn't eat those carbs, I did feel better. I noticed that I was actually always in belly pain. I hadn't noticed that before because that was just normal for me. And besides, when depressed I didn't really know what I felt and didn't feel. But this advice was so wrong. I started blaming those carbs for my weight, for how I felt, for everything, and that could have easily led to an eating disorder. Luckily that didn't happen, but that was mainly because I didn't lose weight. I feel like if I would have lost weight, I would probably have ended up with an eating disorder, which is so bad. Like, that advice came from a dietitian. Anyways, I stopped going to these appointments because I didn't see any results. And after that, I stopped looking at the packaging, and from time to time I was in a lot of pain again. Most of the time I was fine, but when I was going to an amusement park or to something where I had to stand or walk all day, then I could feel horrible. When I was 17, I graduated and went straight after that to Ghana. In Ghana, we didn't have a lot of food, so after a while I started losing weight. Not much, but for the first time I started losing a couple of kilos. At the same time, I had incredibly bad digestive issues, so I even had to go to the hospital. When I was 18 and back home, I took a gap year and I started working a lot. I was working at a supermarket and at a bakery, and I kept losing weight, but at the same time I was in a lot of pain from time to time. Because I didn't have school, I didn't have to read books or, I don't know, do lots of homework. So I started looking up articles and read books about this and gain my knowledge about food, about nutrition. With my findings, I went to the doctor and we did some tests. It turned out I had IBS, which stands for irritable bowel syndrome. The reason why I was losing weight was mainly because of the amount of movement. In high school, I sat down the entire day because I had school from 8:30 till 6. And now I was walking all day, carrying lots of stuff. So my work was actually in my free gym. From that moment on, I've never dealt with any type of weight issues because I always know what to do. I just need to exercise, and then for me, that helps keeping the weight off. That same year, I started getting a lot better mentally. I noticed while learning about food that food has actually a huge impact on your mood. And so I incorporated this knowledge into my day-to-day life as well. It went well. There were only 2 things I kept struggling with. One was the pain from the irritable bowel syndrome and the bad digestion. I have really bad stories about that that I might share in a future video one day. And the second thing was quite weird. Eating certain foods, I would get an itchy nose. Not just a bit, but extremely itchy. Times I even had to sneeze or get watery eyes. I had no idea what this was, so I kept it to myself. Like the people I was eating with, they noticed it, but I didn't share it with anyone else. Until I couldn't even go out for dinner anymore without getting an extremely itchy nose. I went to the doctor and had to go to hospital. We did some tests and it turned out it was a cross allergy. I have hay fever for grass, and apparently sometimes my body was reacting like I was eating grass, but only happened with certain foods. I had no idea this existed, but I kept that in mind too while eating out in the future. At home I sometimes can't care less, so then I just deal with my itchy nose. But I had everything under control a while ago, and then all of a sudden I got acne. Even in puberty, I sometimes had a pimple, 1 or 2, but I had never dealt with acne before. This was completely new for me, and I'm still trying to see what triggers and what doesn't. But that's also something that I keep in mind while choosing what I eat nowadays. So, that's what I'm currently at. I come from a family with an eating disorder history, and I also have friends with eating disorders, so I know how dangerous obsessing about food can be. This means I don't want to restrict myself with eating, but I do want to do what's good for me. This way I can fully enjoy life and food without being in pain, physically and or mentally. So if you're interested in what I eat and what I don't eat and what supplements I take, you can click right there. I hope you found this interesting. Give a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already and click the bell for notifications. And other than that, I hope I will see you next week again. Bye!